Hi girls. I'm just going to do a quick video. They only last 5 minutes, so it might get interrupted at some point. I just thought before actually I was going to do a webinar with you guys, but then I thought some girls are going into school, so it's a bit of a disaster. So what we're just going to do is I'm going to go through my video today, and I'm going to go through a part of what we'll be doing very soon. And then when I see you in school, then we'll go in more detail. So basically, what we've done so far is P1, P2, P3, M1, and you should be done with M1 and D2 and D1. A few of you have not finished it, but you really should be done with it by now because if you don't finish it, then you're not going to get a merit or a distinction, you're just going to get a pass. Anyway, what we need to do is now 3 more tasks plus 1 more. Okay, so if you look at your booklet, there's still a final learning outcome, which is a 4, but that's just a past task. So we literally are now going to do P4, M2, and D2, and then we've got 1 more task, and then we're done. Okay, so from your booklets, you should be able to have a look at the learning outcome 3, which is to understand. I'm actually going to have a look at it here to understand fiscal and monetary policy and the effects on spending. So P4 asks us to explain how both fiscal, okay, and monetary policy affect, affect a selected business, okay? Now, before we even go into anything, we just have to have a look at what you need to be writing about in your coursework, okay? So you need to be writing about what fiscal policy is, things like Corporation Tax, Capital Allowance Act, personal tax and allowances, the role of HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, Comprehensive Spending Review, redistribution of income, monetary policy, the role of the Bank of England, interest rates, inflation control, the value of the pound sterling, other currencies, and so on. So I don't think you're expected to write about every single one of them, but at least have something about fiscal policy, something about the role of HMRC and monetary policy, and then link it to your business. Okay? So basically what I want to do today is just give you an introductory lesson on it and just kind of get you should have done the pre-work, which I don't know if you have done because a lot of you have not actually sent me the work. But I'm going to assume that you were busy with Miss Charlton's work, and I'm going to carry on with it. So we know what fiscal policy is by now. It literally is the means by which a government adjusts its spending levels and tax rates to monitor and influence a nation's economy. So it's basically a way for the government to understand how it can influence a nation's economy by means of things like spending, okay, like we did last time, government spending on hospitals and education and so on. So it's basically about how much, if a government spends on specific services, okay, then how that will impact our economy. And it's also about how, in order to make those spendings, the government's also going to have to get taxes from people and businesses, okay? So that's what basically fiscal policy is the umbrella term for, okay? So it's all about in relation to government spending and taxation and how that influences the economy. Now, Corporation Tax, Capital Allowance Act, and Personal Tax and Allowances are the 3 main concepts you need to know and you have to write about in your P4. Corporate tax, we know what that is. It is basically just a direct tax that is imposed on the profit of a firm by the government, okay? So let's imagine Tesco makes a certain amount of profit, but the government is saying, you're going to have to contribute a little bit to society. So from that profit that Tesco receives, a portion of that goes to the government, and that's the tax that basically goes to the government. Okay. Then we have capital allowance tax, which is basically it provides a tax relief. So it basically allows businesses not to have to pay completely their tax for certain capital assets. So for certain equipment. So let's imagine in a situation in which we have a business who has machinery that is not working as well, okay, they might have a tax relief for the depreciation of that specific machinery bits, okay? So a capital allowance act basically is something that allows, it's a reduction in